And call to order the Fire Station Building Committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, April 7th. Time is 5 p.m. Roll call, please.
Joe Ulick,
Present.
Jeff Matthews,
Present.
Mike Julian,
Present.
Dave Langevin,
Present.
Mike Langevin,
Present.
and John Shugda, all present and accounted for.
Okay. Approval of the March 9th, 2026 minutes. I'll abstain because I was absent. That was the day of the South Street fire. The only thing that I did notice is that the motion that's noted in the March 9th minutes says approval of March 9th minutes, and it was actually the February 9th minutes, so I'll make that adjustment. Anybody else have any errors, corrections, or omissions that we need to address? Seeing none, motion second.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, motion Mike Langevin, second Jeff Matthew. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
I abstain.
Aye.
Yep.
All right. Motion passes. All right. Review and approval of action for development for project to include but not limited to project update. Larry?
Okay, yes. Okay, project update. The training tower block work is being completed. Window blockouts being installed this week. The brickwork began on the front side and the left side of the building, east and south. The columns in front of the apparatus are being bricked in. They have the corbels, they look very good. HVAC work was continued in the main building and within the apparatus bay at ceiling level and in the mezzanine. Air test was completed to assure tight joints in the main building. That passed. Plumbers were continuing to time their piping in the main building and were continuing their work in the apparatus bay across the ceiling to the mezzanine area. Exterior soffit work was being done on the front and back of the apparatus bays, and it's continuing. Interior painting is happening with first coat on the walls in the main building clean side and bunk area. The bunk areas now have 2 coats. Block walls and the decon areas were scratched down and the first coat was applied. The electricians were working in the main switch room and throughout the building. The apparatus bay was also getting piping located out on the ceiling level and down the columns by the apparatus doors. Drywalls were finishing up the portion in the firewalls and continuing building soffits at the edge of in the OC room and kitchen area. Yeah, I was looking at that. Okay, site workers were excavating and prepping the west back of the apparatus bay for the concrete apron. Most of the subs will be working the same priorities as they did the prior week, with some exceptions. The radiant heat loop piping is being installed for the west apron ahead of the concrete pour. And that west apron will be poured on Friday at 8 o'clock in the morning. Rebar will be inspected at 7:30. The site contractor will be starting the trench drains inside the apparatus space. And see if I had something else on it. Yes. Low voltage racks and cables are being installed in the main building. That's it. Moving right along now.
Anybody have any questions on the update? Cap?
I know it's quick, but was there any time made up during this last month?
Time is the same. The time is the same as in the updated schedule. They gave an updated schedule, and it was 18 calendar days behind schedule. And to keep up to that, I'm monitoring it each week and to see that they do it. So right now they're still 18 calendar days behind, but they didn't lose anything. They really were like over 25 days behind, but they've redone their schedule to make it 18. And as of this point, they're doing it for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
looked at changing some of their sequence of operations to better the schedule and to create some overlapping priorities. So Larry's just going to keep an eye on it week by week. In your package is the updated recovery schedule, which identifies 18, as Larry mentioned, 18 calendar days right now. Just keep track of that.
That was identified as of, there was the discussion of requesting more time, and I told them that I would not entertain that or bring it to this body until they had shown some efforts in making up the time on their own.
Thank you.
Larry, I don't think there's any commissioning going on right now, right?
No commissioning at this point.
No. They were out there for early on, and they'll be back as we starting up and testing.
Absolutely. And then they're notified of all testing and the results of the test on any pressure test that has to do with the HVAC systems.
Yeah. You're recording those and sending those along, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So just so everyone, what we're talking about is that Larry witnesses all of the pressure tests, documents them, records them in his field reports, takes photos of the gauges, and sends that along to the engineers so they have it for record.
Right. Into the commissioning service. So.
Yeah. As far as the owner's equipment, purchase orders are being issued for equipment at this point, and our goal will be, by the end of this month, hopefully we'll have everything T's crossed and I's dotted. We have furniture is going to be a big one. We have a meeting next week with one of the furniture vendors, and hopefully we'll have good success. They've given us quotes, but not in the form that we would like to see. No questions? We do have a PCO log in front of you. PCO log number 8. That's this document where we sees it. And we have a recommended change order for you to approve this evening. And it's identified on the change order log. It represents PCOs 4, 14, 18, 19, and 21. And the total change is it has 1 credit and 3 extras and 1 zero cost change. The total amount is $7,741.72. I'll go through them. PCO 4 is the cost associated with the revised stormwater. The original proposal to us was $25,506.09. The final approved proposal is $1,366.54. Excellent job, Larry and Michael, on working to get the realistic numbers in place there. So it was a good effort.
And all the way through that proposal process, because obviously there was a lot of discussion initially about them and, back and forth of they weren't willing to budge or anything. And then obviously the decision was made to issue the CCD to force them to go forward with time and materials. And that certainly benefited us. So thank you for making those proposals and pushing that along.
Oh, welcome. I know it was hard to understand or accept, but some cases that's the only way to get things done. So PCO 5 is in that same category. That was done under a construction change directive. We just don't have the final numbers on that. And Pierce, in talking with the general contractor, they're not getting any quality information from the site contractor. So I think we're going to end up in the same scenario. There was a lot of work done for the revised water, though. But
There was a lot of different fittings.
what's that, Larry?
There were a lot of specialty fittings.
Yeah.
To make it all work.
Yeah. It was a menagerie down there with the existing service. So, but we don't have those numbers yet. PCO 14 was a reduction in, we eliminated a couple of lockers and there was some wiring requirements that were changed. It was a zero cost change. Excuse me, we're eliminating the outlets in lockers and daisy chaining some, but there was a zero cost change for that. PCO 18 was a revised locker layout, which resulted in a net credit of $2,134. PCO 19 was some piping and insulation required for a cabinet unit heater number 1. That was $2,740.87. The original PCO on that was $39,1325, and Michael and his team was working with them to get the realistic number there. And then PCO 21 is some added insulation, cement board, and cap along column line 16. The original approach, this was something that was not identified in the drawings. The original approach was to use a masonry knee wall scenario there. The cost proposal came back at $12,948.04. You'll see that in crossed out PCO 17. A revised detail was worked through. We discussed it, KBA and I discussed it. We discussed it internally and then reviewed it with the department, and everyone was happy with that. And I believe, Joe, you spoke with the building inspector as well.
Yep, Mike and I discussed it.
So the final change there is $5,768.31. All of these have been reviewed by the entire team, and we're recommending for approval for change order number 4. Again, the net change is $7,741.72. With the approval of that, our total change orders to date are a negative $8,160.33. You know, the reason we're working in a negative, if you recall, is we took back a credit for the bidirectional antennas several months ago. So we've been working off of that credit with our change orders, but we're in very good position.
I believe at some point you have described this as typically unheard of at this stage of a project like this, correct?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
we've told you all along to plan on some change orders. You know, the industry standard is in the single digit percentage wise. I don't know what your normal percentage is, Mike, but ours is usually less than 0.5%. And I think that we're well below that at this point.
Well, we like to carry in the budget 5% for new construction, but I've seen the average around 1.5%.
Yeah.
Actually used that aren't owner enhancements.
Yeah, definitely.
and just to give a quick background on the locker changes, we changed the outline of the lockers at the end of the hall in the bunk room areas, so that the overflow lockers that would be issued to members of the call department or things like that ended up being the exact same lockers that everybody else had originally on the plan. It kind of went into like a bus terminal or airport terminal kind of situation where it was a bunch of cube lockers, and we changed them so that they would have the exact same setup that we did. So if nobody had any questions, I'd entertain a motion to recommend to the town manager approve change order 4 in the total amount of $7,741.72, and allow him to sign all associated documents.
I'll make that motion.
So I have a motion Jeff Matthews, second Dave Langevin. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Joe Ulick,
Yes.
Jeff Matthews,
Yes.
Mike Julian,
Yes.
Dave Langevin,
Yes.
Mike Langevin,
Yes.
John Schickder, all in favor.
Motion
Great,
passes.
thank you. So we do have a budget report number 10 in your package. If you have that, what this shows you is how this change order number 4 affects your overall budget. Line 1 is the hard cost construction value. So we're adding the change order number 4 to that value, $7,741.72. And then along those lines, we're going to be taking that same amount from the project contingency, which is down at line 63. So our beginning contingency at the beginning of the month was $1,171,932.88. With this adjustment, our ending contingency is $1,164,191.16. So you're still sitting in a very good position with your construction contingency.
So as it stands right now, obviously the council had set aside that $1 million of free cash money that was assigned for this. So we still have $164,000 before we get to that point. And what we found is, I think in the end, we're going to have some flexibility in the Firematic equipment line items for some things in there as well. And on the topic of the budget, I have some excellent news to give to everyone. Is we processed a little over $1.6 million in invoices that have already been paid for our engineering costs through the USDA grant. So by the end of this week, we're supposed to have an ACH transfer from the federal government in just under $570,000 out of that 913 grand. So just about 2/3 of that money is coming back to the system. And then we'll do the next submission that we can do will be kind of the end of closes the end of June. So I think the majority of those funds will be able to identify and secure before the end of the project. And they also let us know that that we would be able to do the $1 million application for payment when we reach substantial completion, not after the entire project is done. So we should see all $1.9 million before we close the project out.
Wow. That's congratulations. And just so you know, that's not accounted for in this budget. We've always been free of that because we didn't, there was some uncertainty. So theoretically, if we were to do this budget correctly, I'm not sure if the town wants us to do, but we could add an additional source to the bottom, because what it means is that if you were doing an accounting budget, that money would be going into the contingency. Of course, it goes into the town's hands, but it goes to pay for things in this project. So it rolls out the other side, and it shows you have more contingency.
Yeah. So the 913, that was obviously applied to the Firematic items and things. So obviously we've made some expenditures there. Like Rick said, we issued purchase orders for the gear extractors, the gear dryers, and the SCBA compressor and fill station. So that was a couple of $100,000 just in those items. Furniture will be a significant purchase. And then there's a few more larger pieces of equipment still to acquire before we get to the technology and things. So once we are able to apply those items against that 9, we'll be able to tighten up the budget a lot more once we have some final numbers there.
Sounds good.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so that's it for the budget. Next, we have invoices.
All right,
Okay.
before we
Yeah.
jump into your list of invoices, I have one that's kind of been floating out there. Michael and I had discussed it a couple of weeks back. The maintenance of the website, we never got that one issued to us, and it's been showing up on our account as past due. So the first invoice is KBA invoice KBA 011926, dated January 19th, 2026, in the amount of $432.23. So that maintains the website and the domain of the Southbridge New Fire Station project until February of 2027. So this realistically will probably be the last one that we do.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Bill Ulick,
Yes.
Jeff Matthews,
Yes.
Mike Julian,
Yes.
Dave Langevin,
Yes.
Mike Langevin,
Yes.
John Chugda, all in favor.
Next item I have is KBA invoice 21041.00-34, dated March 31st, 2026, in the amount of $31,229.50.
So moved.
I have a
Second.
motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion?
Who second that?
Jeff Matthew.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no discussion, roll call, please.
Bill Ulick,
Yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Mike Julian,
Yes.
Dave Langevin,
Yes.
Mike Langevin,
Yes.
John Chugda, all in favor.
Motion passes. All right, next invoice I have is from Yankee Engineering and Testing, dated 3/31/26. It's invoice number 35160, in the amount of $1,050. The items that are on this are included the testing of rebar, concrete, soil monitoring, and cylinder transport.
So moved.
So moved.
I have a
Second.
motion and a second by Dave Langevin. And then, is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Bill Ulick,
Yes.
Jeff Matthews,
Yes.
Mike Julian,
Yes.
Dave Langevin,
Yes.
Mike Langevin,
Yes.
and John Chugda, all in favor.
Okay, motion passes. Next one I have is Pomeroy Associates, dated 4/6/26. Invoice number 21.106.0-29, in the amount of $37,333.87.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, Mike Langevin, second, Jeff Matthew. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Bill Ulick,
Yes.
Jeff Matthews,
Yes.
Julian,
Yes.
Dave Langevin,
Yes.
Mike Langevin,
Yes.
John Chugda, all in favor.
All right, and the last item I have is for PDS, the application payment of number 10, dated 3/31/26, or work period 2, in the amount of $1,854,059.76.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
Dave Lynch, second Jeff Matthew. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
within this invoice are some line items that are for stored material. And just to let you know, that is something that is allowable, provided that the contractor provide a transfer of title, evidence of insurance or a bond warehouse where it's being stored, and photographs of the material and bill of lading for the material. And we've received all of those for the items that they've requested.
We also did something similar when they had the steel deliveries on hand, correct?
Mhm. Yeah, this is not the first time we've done stored material, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Any other discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Joe Ulick,
Yes.
Jeff Matthews,
Yes.
Julian,
Yes.
Dave Langevin,
Yes.
Mike Langevin,
Yes.
John Schuster, all in favor.
All right, that's all the invoices we have, correct, Rick?
Yes. Could I ask first, could I ask maybe at some point if I can get a copy of your current payables list the town has? I just want to cross-reference with our invoices to make sure we're still in check balance. I did it about 6 months ago.
Yep.
Um,
I'll forward you the spreadsheet again after Stacy adds it. I looked at it. She did not add these invoices to this running tally, and the tally right now is 15,266,179. But again, that goes back to 2020, 2022. So that's everything that's been spent at this point since the project was appropriated, not just the construction project itself. So.
Right. One of the things I may be coming back to the committee and asking for a modification in the budget is the invoice you approved earlier for KBA for the website monitoring. There's been other invoices for that. So by rights, we should be adding a line item into our budget for those items so that we check balance at the end. So I'll I'm going to go through that, check what Stacy has, and I'll be adding that line item to this. And it's not a lot of money, but it would be good that we that we balance to zero. And so I'll go through that, and then next month I'll review that with the committee so you see what we're recommending.
Okay, and I think that's going to go back quite a ways because that goes back to when we first started pushing information about the project out. So obviously even before the construction project was approved.
Yeah, but I'll have to draw the line at the current appropriation, right? I believe that's, yeah. So I'll go through it.
Okay. All right, so that's all the invoices. Are there any other open items we need to discuss?
I have one.
Go right ahead,
Chief.
sir.
Chief, I wish you luck this weekend.
Thank you so much. It's going to be a blessed day, the blessed day for sure. Thank you, everybody. My daughter's getting married this weekend.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I will say, just because you opened up the door, I think Joe probably told you guys we had 7 out of the 9 counselors have a site tour yesterday. And I will just honestly say, with some side conversations with some of those counselors, very impressed with the progress and very happy to see the project moving forward. And we're actually quite surprised on everything that we have in place currently. At what 60% of the project is gone by already. So I think the support and some of those attitudes have turned around a little bit just on the fire station project, but it was good to get those guys on site and get them walking around. So no, thank you.
May I ask who the 2 were missing?
Counselor Kelly
Dave
and
Adams,
Counselor Adams. Counselor Adams already reached out to me to do it on another day.
Counselor Kelly works at the courthouse all the time, so that's why he was unable to attend.
I'm just curious. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, if there's no other open items to discuss, next meeting, are we looking at like, May 5th, Rick?
Maybe do the week after that, only because let's do the 12th if that's okay. Well, wait a minute, I have a commitment on the 12th. We can shoot for the 5th. I'm just thinking about the invoices we'll just make sure the contractor's invoice is ready to go. So let's do the 5th.
Okay, we'll do the 5th. Dave, how we feeling? Do we want
We
to gather again?
You can gather again if you think it's, I mean, yeah, I've been in the town hall and stuff, so just slow and steady, but no problem.
All right, do we want, in that case, Rick, does it make more sense to try for Monday, the 4th?
Yeah,
And
thank
we
you.
just kind of make it a long day?
Yep, perfect.
All right, so we'll do Monday, the 4th at 4:30 at Town Hall.
Okay. I appreciate everything you've done for me.
How's your,
Absolutely.
are you easily getting around, David? Because I'm wondering if we do a tour at the same time.
I'm not ready for that, but hey, if other people want to go for a tour,
I would like to.
I mean, I know I'll have my opportunity, but right now, yeah, I'm not running any marathons by any chance.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's okay. I appreciate it.
I would like to go see the progress.
Yep, just tell me when you want to and we'll do it.
Okay, Joe.
And if you guys want to do it as schedule it as a committee, that's one thing. But, obviously I'm there Monday afternoons. And then we can schedule something outside of that. And, obviously John Sugar's been through multiple times. Mike Julian and I are there every week, obviously. So anybody else that wants to do it, just get in touch with me.
All righty.
All right. If there's nothing else, thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Motion to adjourn.
Good night. Second. So moved.
Motion. All in favor.